I said at the beginning, like people are like, I don't want to give up cheese. So I feel like they're more willing to try a plant-based cheese product than they are a plant-based, let's say, meat replacement. Has this been your experience too?
It has, yeah. I feel like I encounter, well, it's funny because most of my customer base, some of them are vegan, some of them are vegetarian, and a lot of them are lactose intolerant. A lot of them, a couple of them are mothers who are breastfeeding who have to give up dairy for their children. Um, and people wanting to reduce dairy because it upsets their stomach without a formal diagnosis. Gentlemen who have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, whose doctors told them, hey, maybe you should cut back on the animal products a little bit. So I think dairy is a really good place to start. I think it's kind of a gateway into more plant-based eating.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about dairy is that people have all kinds of health problems, and then they eliminate dairy, and they're like, "Oh, wow, it's so strange." But I just am always amazed that there's not a bigger conversation around the fact that there's a numerous amount of people that are lactose intolerant that don't are not able to digest dairy, and we never ask ourselves why that is, right? It's just like, oh, it's natural, it's from a cow. It's like, yes, it's from a cow meant for other cows, baby cows, in fact, and they would like to have it back. So with that said, I think like the overall health issues, is a driving force for a lot of people. But again, it's very hard to change behaviors and habits. So having things that they can then, have an option like a plant-based cheese, I think is a really great entryway then for them to look at the rest of their diet and say, perhaps I also don't want to eat other parts of an animal, whether it be their flesh or their muscle or whatever, what have you. With that said, you mentioned going over to Japan. I've had a lot of friends. Japan is having a moment in the last couple of years. I feel like everyone I know is running off to Japan. Unfortunately, I have not been there, but I do always say to them, hey, they have whole restaurants that are dedicated to tofu. You should try them. And at first, they're kind of like, oh no, but more than one has come back and said, oh, I tried it. You were right. It was so great. And they're amazed to see that you can have such a different culinary experience just by different versions of tofu made different ways.
Yeah. I started my business teaching cooking classes because I had went vegan, and I noticed that there were not a lot of spaces that were teaching very fundamental plant-based cooking techniques, ways to incorporate plant-based eating, especially in a judgment-free space. A lot of people, when they hear the word vegan or they hear a vegan cooking class or anything like that, they're expecting, people to go on about animal agriculture and all the detriments. And of course, I can do that if people ask. But predominantly, my goal has been this whole time I've had my business is getting people introduced and used to the idea that plant-based food is delicious. It deserves to be extolled the way we extol Korean food now. That's trending a lot. Japanese food, Indian food, Italian, French. It's a style of cooking that deserves a place at anybody's table, regardless of how you identify.